we can only discuss the first season, so I have watched the first episodes, and one of the things that I really liked about your character, Casey, is that I think that he's the most interesting one in the show for what I have seen, because he's like caught up between two worlds, the one of his rich family and the one that he lives in the reservation with his wife and with his son. So how do you think that he fits in the middle of those two realities?
Yeah, I think that's something that sort of attracted me to Casey as well. It's just sort of, he's trying very much to always do the right thing, which he never seems to know what that is, and to figure out his place in the world, which he also doesn't know. It's sort of a bit Shakespearean in that way, Him and Monica have a bit of a Romeo and Juliet thing, forbidden love kind of thing, and I always liked that. And yeah, I think a lot of times in these sort of Western genre films or shows, there's just a lot of kind of machismo and posturing, and Casey just didn't have any of that, and still managed to be sort of his own kind of badass, I guess. I just never read anything like it before.
Yeah, like you say, it's really different from many other TV shows. And one of the main reasons for that is that the creator is Taylor Sheridan, who's one of the most interesting screenwriters working right now. So were you an admirer of his work previously, working with him in Yellowstone?
Absolutely. I'd seen Sicario and Hell or High Water. Really, really loved both, and especially Hell or High Water. I just, he quickly became one of my favorite writers. So when I heard that he had a show he was doing, I immediately wanted to know if there was anything in there for me, because I wanted to be a part of it. And at the time, I really wasn't, super concerned about wanting to do TV. I like the short format of a film. I like sort of being in and out and changing every few months and stuff. But when I knew it was him, I knew it would be something quality. And then I read it, and obviously there was Casey, and it was out of everything I've ever read in my career, I wanted that. I really, really wanted that part. And I made a tape, and a couple days later he called me and told me that it was mine. And that's a moment in my life I'll never forget. And it's sort of because of the show and the success and everything, that moment really changed my life. But mostly because I've just loved this experience and loved playing this character, and all thanks to Taylor Sheridan for writing it. He's incredible at what he does.
You've been a part of the show for 3 years now, I think. How has Taylor achieved to challenge you season after season with your character?
One of the bigger challenges is that I never know what's happening or where he's headed. Every time I have some sort of idea where I think he's going to go, it's just not what happens. And and some of the things that he goes through aren't always, even me, Luke, the actor who wants to be out doing certain things, it's a challenge for me, because I'll have to do these things that aren't so fun or aren't so, so it's always that. It's always wondering what's next. And I get to experience it that way, sort of the way the audience does, which can be really frustrating at times, but also kind of just a rewarding experience at the end of the day.
Yeah, and the show has like its own pace, its own rhythm. It doesn't rush. Like, it doesn't need to have 5 cliffhangers per episode. Like, it knows how to have that special pace, like I was saying. And it's a really character-driven show. For you, how has it been to be a part of a show that it's so different from almost any other TV show that is on TV right now?
I mean, that's sort of the dream, right? When coming up, you want to do some important work. You want to be a part of some things that I think this show is, one of the only times in my career where I've been on something that does feel really different and that does feel like sort of groundbreaking. And I can tell the way that people respond to it is a little different than most of the things I've done. When people come up to me and they're fans of the show, you can tell it sort of has kind of a profound effect on them, which is really nice. It feels like, makes you feel like what you're doing is worthwhile.
In the show, you play the rebel son of Kevin Costner. How has it been to be the son in a fiction of a legend like Kevin Costner?
It's a big benchmark in your career. You look at someone like him who's done everything and been around for a while and as successful as you can be as a film actor, and then you get to work with him almost every day. It does feel like you're doing something right. You're on a good path. And then you just, and then I just hope to learn some stuff. There's any time that someone has reached those levels and been around as long as he has, there's going to be some wisdom there, some stuff to try and pick up on. So I just hope to soak some of that up. And
in all these years that you have been a part of Yellowstone, how have you evolved or grown as an actor, or how has it deepened your connection to your character?
Yeah, that's interesting. In the last, few years of doing this show, there's some things that have sort of happened in my life that sort of growing experiences. I got married, where, Casey was married, and when I started playing him, I was not. And so that's been kind of interesting. And, you just, I feel like I'm sort of growing with him and he's growing with me. And the longer you do play a character, years and years, they kind of mingle together a little bit. I've also just learned a lot of, skills that I didn't think I would have before. Riding horses was not something I did. Now it is, and probably will be even when the show's over. Like being reintroduced to the outdoors in a way. I grew up in Ohio being pretty outdoorsy, and then I lived in LA for 16 years. And so I kind of lost that side of myself, but being up here and now living up here, it's fully back. And it's something I forgot how much I appreciated.
Like you were saying, you have been able to go to, I think the show its setting is in Montana and in Utah, which is a setting that people here in Spain may not be really aware of. We have not been there usually, or it isn't the usual setting in movies or in TV shows. So which elements of that place and culture do you think that could be appealing to us now that the Yellowstone is coming here to Spain? Well,
horses, first of all. They're still big in Spain, right? I feel like we got horses from the Spanish. And I was asked this question before from someone in the Nordic countries, where he's like, how is this going to relate to us? And I think it's a thing where, like, a lot of the people that I know that watch the show that live in cities or live in places that are nothing like this, it's like an escape, and it's a chance to kind of feel like you're somewhere else for a little bit, especially what's been going on in the last year or so. And everyone's been stuck indoors, and it's in that way, because the place is such a character in the show, we really showcase how beautiful Montana is, and those, we show the hard parts of this way of life, but also the really beautiful parts. And hopefully, I would just hope that people could see that and romanticize about being there themselves.
Okay, thank you so much, Luke. Have a nice day, and congratulations. You do an amazing work in the show.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.